There's no blueprint on how to do this. There's no pathway to follow. All you need to do is just say, that has to change, and commit, and then figure it out. Not Impossible is comprised of a bunch of just crazy people who feel like they can do 20 people's job in being one person. The realization that real people can go out and solve real world problems and have that scale into helping more people. And that's not a company, although we have all the makings of what a company is. That's a movement. And that's essentially what Not Impossible is all about. Is that it's about seeing something that's wrong, seeing something that's absurd, seeing something that from a human standpoint, you're like, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense that that exists, that that's the way that life is, because someone doesn't have the access to a piece of technology that could transform their lives, that could transform their way that they could communicate, that's absurd. That was the moment where I said, all right, it's absurd that someone doesn't have access to something that already exists. Let's change that. And now that, I think, is fundamental to who we are as a movement, is looking at these things and saying, wait a second, that doesn't make sense. Why would an armless boy in Sudan be unable to feed himself just because he's in a remote part of the world? Why can't we make a low-cost 3D printed prosthetic to solve that? The idea that the deaf community feels music mainly by getting hit with one wave of vibration, that's absurd. Why can't we figure out a new pathway to the brain? Why can't we use the skin as that receptor as opposed to the eardrum? Why do people with Parkinson's, why do they have to forever be relegated to solving those tremors that they get with pharmaceuticals? Why can't we solve it in a non-pharmaceutical way? And I think that's the core of Not Impossible, is that we made change in the world that we saw, but the bigger, absolute, much bigger goal here is that other people can see the things that we're doing, the crazy, ridiculous, no way should that work out things that we're doing, and they go make change in their own world. We want this circle of influence to just echo out, and we see this as a movement for the people. This is a movement for the people to change their world and change the world, and if we can play one small role in causing that echo effect to take place, then it's all worth it.